So I just did something very crazy. I can't even remember what our balance was the last time that I did a mortgage update video, but a lot has happened this year. We'll just do a recap and I'll show you on the screen every single payment that we've made so far this year. When I did become part-time at the beginning of January, our payoff goal went from the end of July to the end of October, which is good. You know, you can't really complain. If I'm going to start working half the amount of hours and our payoff goal only gets pushed back by 3 months, I can't complain about that, right? But then you always think about what could have been. And I was like, imagine me waking up August 1st and my house could have been paid off, but it isn't. I know it's like a silly problem to have, but I was just thinking about once that time comes, what it'll feel like. So yeah, this year I decided, you know what, I still want to pay off our house in 5 years. Not the 5 years that technically our loan would end in October, and that's how we were going to get it done, but like 5 years from closing, I wanted to do that. And so I started trying to find money in different places. It started with putting our tax refund on the mortgage, or part of it. First, I put $1,500 on it, and it made me realize that since October was a 3 paycheck month, that would entirely eliminate the last paycheck in October. We'd be paying on it 3 times on a normal basis, but we pay on it 2 times since we put this tax refund on there. It got my wheels turning, and I was like, you know what? We could really just try to find money in different places, you know? Cash back on credit cards, like get back to that, get back to just everything I can. And then I put an extra $350 on the mortgage from our tax refund, just decided to use that money on the mortgage instead of other things. And then I got a referral bonus from referring people to the high yield savings account that I have, just so many things. That was $250. So already I'm at like $2,000, you know, whereas in the month of October alone, I would have needed $4,600 to pay it off. And so I was just doing everything I could to come up with a little bit here and a little bit there, and really just, you know, getting back to your roots. Don't ever think that putting a certain amount of money is too small on the mortgage, because at the end of the day, it's decreasing your balance by $50, $100, what have you. So that for me was super exciting. And then we had this whole car situation that we talked about in the last video. Things just kept popping up. And then eventually, after every time you're going to get like an oil change and they're saying something's wrong, you're like, wait a second, let me add up how much we've put in on this vehicle. And it turned out to be $3,600 in like 15 months. And it's just like so much, you know? It starts to really add up. And I'm like, you know what? I'm so tired. What really made me tired was then after we had paid like, what was it? $500 to get this tie rod and get an alignment fixed. Then I'm still hearing it. They're saying, well, it's the tread on your tires. You know, it's going to take some time. But I'm like, I hate driving this thing now, because every single time I'm driving it, it's something. And so we sold it. It's been about 2 weeks now since we sold that SUV, and I felt a lot lighter, and I still feel a lot lighter. We're a 1-car family now. We're making it work. It makes you realize sometimes how things are not necessities, but they become so normalized. Like, I'm a victim of it myself. Whenever I had our second child and he was a baby, and I'm like, okay, I have 2 kids, I have 2 car seats, like I need another vehicle. And sometimes I think about what it would have been like if I never bought this SUV. Not that we didn't have a lot of good times with it, and it got us from here to Minnesota when we traveled, but it just made me think like how much money we've put into it. So we bought it for $16,000, we sold it for $8,000. Let's just say $8,000 plus all the repairs that went into it was just in the last 15 months, it was $3,600. We had it for almost 4 years. So it just makes you think. I'm like, we really didn't even need this vehicle. Was it nice having all that space? Absolutely. It was very nice. You're sitting up high, you have so much space. Like, it was nice. But then I think about just getting back to your roots and how we could have put 2 car seats and the vehicle for an extended period of time. Like, we did not have to get that. It would have been a lot less stress if I had not gotten it, and just so many things. So woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? At the end of the day, lesson learned. The Honda Civic has been reliable. We've had it for almost 9 years and nothing major with it. And so it just makes me think about the future. And I know that I want to have a car that's paid off and keep it forever. But then it also makes me think in the future, like maybe I won't get a car that's like 10 years old, 6 years old. Maybe we'll try to get something that's just like 2 to 3 years old. And does that require saving for longer? Because we are team no car payment. Absolutely. But will the longevity of it be better because I can maintain it from the beginning? I know that I'm, you know, grown, and I'm going to get the oil changes. I'm going to do all the things that it needs to have done. I'm going to check out any noise I hear, but that doesn't mean that the person who got this Mazda before me did that, Or like I said before, maybe Mazda is just an unlucky brand for me, and because I had issues before where my brakes completely gave out on a Mazda with no warning, and then now this Mazda, so maybe I would be absolutely crazy to get another Mazda. Probably won't do it, but in the meantime, in the future, I think I'm just gonna stick to my roots. You know, I've really never had a Toyota, but obviously I know Toyotas are very good vehicles. We have had a Honda that's been very reliable, so we're just gonna take our time with it in the future. And I had kept this money that we got from selling the car because we had planned to just keep it and put that towards another vehicle eventually. But realistically, I'm not ready to get another vehicle, and we're not going to be ready for a while. Will we just need to get like snow tires on the Honda? Probably. And we are both at a point where we're like, maybe we'll wait like a good 2 years before we get another one. Like, that's just where we're at right now. Plus, paying off our house by September or even sooner can have us start saving for another vehicle even sooner long term. So I just did something very crazy, and you know, my husband has said, we both were like, let's wait for a vehicle. Then he said, let's put it on the mortgage. I was like, let's put it on the mortgage. Then I'm like, let's wait, let's just wait, because even if we put it on the mortgage, we're still not going to pay off the house until July. Let's just wait until July, you know, let's just have it sit in savings. But where I'm at, I'm like, you know what? I just want to get as close to zero as possible. And so today I officially scheduled a $7,500 payment on our $15,447 balance. So it's basically going to cut our balance in half, and we are officially like close to 60 days from payoff with this balance. So we did it. Like, we actually did it. And so for me, it was a little bit hard because, you know, for one, I'm so type A. If I schedule and plan for something to go a certain way and then I'm like, okay, actually let's change it, I'm not super good with that. And then also anxiety. Like, I need to sit with something and like really create this scenario of this being realistic and this happening. Like, I have to be comfortable with that and decide, okay, I'm ready for it. Like, let's do it, basically. And that took a little bit. That took a couple weeks, maybe like a week. So yeah, I just feel like really, really good about it. People who probably are just finding this video are gonna be like, you know what? You're lucky. You just did this overnight. But people who have been here know this has not been an overnight thing. This is something that has been in the works, not only with us paying off debt, saving for the down payment, closing on this house was a miracle within itself, just with everything that we had been through with apartment living. And now we are finally almost done. Finally almost done. So this is what the rest of payoff is probably going to look like. This right now, we're in May, we're in a 3 paycheck month. Like, next week is our last payday of May. We already had planned and budgeted to put $1,500 on the mortgage next week, and that would be our third payday. So after, well, let's start with what the balance is right now, 15,400 something, and we're putting 7,500 on there. So that's gonna have our balance be just under 8,000. It's gonna be 7,900 and something. And then after sending 1,500, we'll be at about 6,400. And that's what we will end the month with. Starting June 1st, we'll have like 6,400 left, which is just, that's so crazy. 6,400 on our mortgage. It almost feels like that's not possible. It almost feels like crazy. Like, I just can't even, that is crazy. How is that real? How is that possible? That's kind of how it feels. Like, how can you have a mortgage balance that low? And it's like, I know we've done this before with debt, but like, this is a mortgage, and it's so not normal to pay off a mortgage, and then we're about to do it, and I'm like almost just like, that's not what you do, but we do this. Like, this is what we've been doing and working towards for years. So June, normal 2 paycheck month, we send on a normal month about 3,100 to the mortgage. So that'll be May and June. 3,100 and 3,100 is 6,200. Leaves us with like $200 to come up with, which obviously is so doable and so possible. And that's what we're going to do, is have it projected to be paid off July 25th. We're almost done, guys. We're almost done. Keep going. I know that when you see someone's balance this low, you're like, that is so far off for me. But remember that we started at 254,000 less than 5 years ago. Not everyone has to pay it off that fast, but just know that every payment that you make, being consistent, putting your money towards it is going to get you progress and results. Like, you're going to progress. If you decide to pay $1,000 a month, $500 a month, your balance is going down by that amount of money. Regardless, you're sending principal payments to your mortgage and that balance is decreasing by that amount of money over and over again until you're literally done. It still doesn't feel real right now for me. Once it's at zero, I'm literally gonna cry. That's it. Get ready because I'm gonna cry. But I appreciate everyone's support. I feel like everyone's been so supportive and I really appreciate that. And while we're not done, I just think that the end is near and it still doesn't feel real for me. I'm like, how can we do that? But we're gonna do it and I'm gonna show you guys. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and I will see you very, very soon.